Well, it's okay to be a black person on the Supreme Court so long as you're not a supporter of Trump. Brown Jackson gets favorable treatment by the media, and we're going to watch an example of her getting a pass, even as Clarence Thomas gets hammered by them. There's a big difference. And this is some of the race politics weighing into even some of Trump's January 6th trials. So this is going to keep coming up over the next couple of months. They want Clarence Thomas to recuse himself. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. And come on, my people. I don't care what amount of melanin you have in your skin. It tells me nothing about you. If you're a good person, you're a happy person, then come along with me. We are indeed brothers and sisters. So first up, this is from Reuters. Trump legal clashes reach U.S. Supreme Court as 2024 election nears. This is from Reuters. This is coming, so there's going to be pressure now on Clarence Thomas. CRA files ethics complaint against Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson for failing to disclose her husband's income. They accused her of what the left has been going after Clarence Thomas for. Now, don't worry, this is just a tiny group doing this, so it won't even leave a dent or be anything equal to what Clarence Thomas has had to face. But it's interesting. Earlier this week, after months of careful preparation, we filed an official ethics complaint against Biden-appointed Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is stupid. They could have found any number of amazing female black justices that would have kicked butt, but instead they went for this political hack. Remember, she said, I can't tell you what a woman is because I'm not a biologist, for willfully failing to disclose the source of her husband's consulting income and her potential failure to disclose private contributions made to an event celebrating her appointment to the Supreme Court. Now, to be fair, I got to be fair to this lady because I'm not a Democrat, so I don't just go after her even if I don't believe something. I do think that her not recusing or exposing her husband's income, I do think that is influential. I think how much money she spends on her celebration for being on the Supreme Court, that is not a big deal to me, and I think that's a bit of a witch hunt. Conservative justices are held to entirely different ethical standards in our judicial system than their liberal counterparts. You know it, and I know it. Wow, what are they talking about? The Center for Renewing America files the complaint regarding two potential ethics violations by Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. First, Justice Jackson appears to have willfully failed to disclose required information regarding her husband's medical malpractice consulting income for over a decade. Okay. Now that's legit to me. As explained below, given the repeated omissions of this information for several years, it is appropriate to refer Justice Jackson to the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland pursuant to 310 for violating the Ethics Government Act. Now, because she's a Democrat going to Merrick Garland, a Democrat, she will be, her crimes, anything will be vanished. This woman could do anything. Merrick Garland, she could do worse things than Hunter Biden, and Merrick Garland would not give the referral. So this is a hilarious fantasy. Second, there is reason to believe that Justice Jackson may have failed to report the private funding sources of her massive investiture celebration at the Library of Congress in her most recent financial disclosure. Like I said, I think that's BS. And then here's the conclusion. In sum, Justice Jackson's refusal to list the years for which her husband received medical malpractice consulting income is a flagrant violation of EIGA, whatever that is, and her admission of this failure and refusal to list the years in which her husband received such income only demonstrates willfulness. Pursuant to 13106, the Judicial Conference should refer Justice Jackson's willful violation to the Attorney General. Hilarious when pigs fly. That'll happen. But now let's look at how Clarence Thomas is treated by the same leftist media. Washington Post opinion: Ginny Thomas's work on January 6th means Clarence Thomas must recuse himself from the key cases. Man, they hate Thomas because he got him a white wife. The left despises him. And Ginny Thomas was actively supporting Trump on January 6th. Clarence, here's Yahoo News. Clarence Thomas faces calls to recuse himself from January 6th Trump cases. Only Clarence Thomas, because he black. Here's New York Times. Clarence Thomas threatened to resign over salary concerns in 2000. This is an expose of him going all the way back to 2000. They dug up some little note where he complained that justices weren't paid enough, and they made a big deal out of it because he black. Here's Chris Hayes says, well, that's just MSNBC. We do not care what Chris Hayes says. But here's a little comic of Scrooge saying, no Christmas bonus this year, Cratchit. I bought a Clarence Thomas an RV. This is about the rich billionaire that bought Clarence Thomas one RV, and they completely freaked out about it. This is nothing compared to the gifts that every other statesman, including Supreme Court justices, get. It's only called out because Clarence Thomas, he black. Huffington Post, Democrats call for Justice Clarence Thomas to recusal in Trump immunity case. Here's Time Magazine, Trump Colorado case dawns. Push for Clarence Thomas recusal. Here's MSNBC, former judge Clarence Thomas will recuse himself. Here's the best one, folks. This one, they pulled this one out of their butts. The New Republic, angry about your kids' after-school Satan club? Blame Clarence Thomas. This tells you everything you need to know. Ginny Thomas is a victim of Donald Trump's alleged crimes. No, not that headline. This, getting closer. Yeah, that's not quite the point I'm trying to make. Let's get in closer. There you go. This is why this conservative is hammered on the Supreme Court, because the Democrat branding, remember their brand is Joe Biden saying, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. That is a disgusting racist statement. And that is the entire left, the Democrat Party. Content of character, not color of skin. I'm Doug in Exile.